I've got a lot going on at the moment, miniature-wise. I have my Great Hunger Warband, which I am working on, which is going to be in collaboration with Bestra Miniatures, which I'm super, super happy with. I've got the rest of my Red Brigade all printed, and they are currently primed. My Defenders of the Iron Wall are nearly ready. I've only got a couple of AZEBs left to do, another Janissary Officer, but that's going to be for a tournament list, and I've got to finish my Brazen Bull, which I've already made a start on, and the main thing I'm going to be painting today. And I'm going to talk about my last campaign game, which I played a couple of days ago, but we'll get into that in a minute. Let's go painting. So paint scheme wise, I knew it was always going to be a game of balances between warm and cold, because there is, as you can see, a lot of gold and brass areas on this miniature, which will inherently lend itself to be warm. So skin wise, I want it to be cooler, just so it's gonna help sort of balance that. But with the skin is also, I'm going to be introducing warm elements because of all of the enamel washes and skin irritation and all of that sort of stuff I'm going to be adding to it. So there's going to be a lot of reds and purples involved in there. Purple is a little bit cooler, so that's not too bad, but I'm going to have to tone the metal down a bit. So we're going to do a green wash and do some verdigris, I think, just add a cool element to the warm element, assuming I'm going to be adding warm elements to the cool element. So yeah, it's a game of balances, but it's going to be fun. So yeah, literally just going to be using Emperor Gold for the base coat of the gold, and then once that's all done, we're going to start with the enamels. So the gold's all done. I'm just currently working on an oil flesh wash, which is going to be the initial pass. So I'm yet to mix it and I'm yet to try it, but I think it's going to be a mix of deoxidize, I think it's what it's called. Basically this purple oil paint with some burnt sienna and some crimson as well. I'm going to mix that up and hopefully see what that looks like. Yeah, let's talk about my last campaign game. So I was playing against Isaac's Assassins, and this was game 6. We only played 6 games in this campaign, which I think, with like having 10 people in, is enough games to get a feel for the warbands we were all playing. I was playing my court, and the mission we were playing was Great War. Now, Great War is a very simple mission. It's you line up, there's no morale checks, fight each other for 5 turns. So you score victory points for taking out enemy models, and then the amount of victory points you get is equal to the ducat or glory value divided by 10 or divided by 3, which is nice just to not worry about objectives and just focus on having a good time. Now, deployment-wise, I was very much being a bit of a coward. So I knew that the Assassins, they had access to the Bow of Alamet, which is a 40-inch range. They had a load of siege Giselles as well. So I wanted to protect my warband, so we hid in 2 buildings. My Blood Battery in one and everybody else. And then I hid 2 Yoke Fiends, Warlock, Hell Knight in another building. I don't know if this was smart, but at the time, I thought it was a good idea. Hindsight is a wonderful thing, but again, that's just a case of learning. So that's how the deployment was. Turn 1, I lost my Warlock, Hell Knight to the Master Assassin, who came in and just ruined everything. But thankfully we were able to take out the Master Assassin as well, so it was a little bit of give and take, which is perfectly fine. So yeah, the rest of the game was just a lot of me being really cagey. My hunter teleported out to do some damage, and then he got trapped on a building for like the rest of the game. And then I killed, I think, about 3 of my Wretched out of 4, with gas grenades. So that gave Isaac an additional 9 points for free, which it's just how it is playing court, especially if you're hotboxing. But again, I wasn't really too fussed about it. It was the last game, so it is what it is. It was just a very bloody back and forth game, and it really came down to the last turn, really, in terms of deciding who the winner was. I say that Isaac was in the lead, but there was an opportunity for me to clutch out the victory, and there was an opportunity for Isaac to just secure completely his lead. So on the tower in his deployment was my hunter. My hunter was down with 3 blood, and there was an Azeb below him. So the Azeb climbed up and charged the hunter. So he charged it, managed to hit, bloodbathed, and then got a result of 4. The Azeb was then quickly dispatched by the hunter, so that didn't really go to plan. Now, my chance to clutch out this victory came in the form of a downed assassin on my sort of deployment. He had 2 blood on him. As an opportunity for me to dash my Praetor and charge the assassin and hope for a kill, or shoot the assassin with the Serpent Assault Gun and hopefully take them out that way, because I don't know if I'm gonna succeed my dash, but risk the chance of the assassin being able to, if I miss, redeploy in 6 inches. Now, I don't know if I made the right one, but I decided to shoot at the assassin. Unfortunately, my Praetor missed his first shot. The assassin was able to redeploy 6 inches into a building where he stayed for the remainder of the game in very much relative safety. So I wasn't able to get those victory points, which would have put me past Isaac's score. And it ended up being a victory for the assassins. Final score was 73 for the assassins and 66 for the court. So quite a close game and a very fun game. I always enjoy playing with Isaac and just chatting with him whilst we play. So it was a good way to end the campaign. And we'll talk about some campaign hindsights. Painting check-in. I've done the wash, I'm happy with it. I'm just gonna mix up a, kind of like an oil highlight. So I'm gonna use some titanium white, the very, very much used titanium white. And we're gonna mix it with a little bit of yellow ochre. And we're just gonna put that on a brush. And we're gonna basically get nearly all of that paint off. And we're just gonna feather it into the skin. So on the Mini, I've got a couple of areas which the paint has peeled off, which is annoying, always is annoying, but I don't think it's the end of the world, because you see it like on the chest area, like there. I don't think it's, and then there's another bit on this, where that light bit is. Now, I don't think that's the end of the world. A while ago, it would ruin my day, but I think there's a fix for it, and that fix is we're gonna turn them into wounds. So you see here, we've got a couple of patches where the paint has come loose because of me not waiting enough, and just maybe I was a little bit too heavy with the abrasions. So how do we fix this? So I think this is quite a common problem which grimdark painters face. I'm sure people have gotten used to it and have figured out methods to prevent this from happening. I guess I just need to get there in my own time. But for now, we're just going to take some crimson oil paint, which is just a little bit thicker, just to sell it a bit like that. And to be honest, it's just, that's done. Pretty decent job. So what else can we do? Let's just do the de-stressed areas. So we'll take some of this, carrying crimson. Just gonna place it in the areas where the skin would be really irritated. I'm gonna take some purple oil paint and we're just gonna add it to this area just to make some sort of bruising. We might mix it with the crimson as well, just to get a nicer reddish look to it, like so. Just taking a break from the flesh to tone the gold down with some Colia green shade. But yeah, let's talk about my thoughts on how the campaign went. So in the end, I ended up with 2 victories, 1 draw and 3 losses, which isn't too bad. One of those losses was an auto loss because I wasn't able to do a game because I was ill, so that's fine. But I think it's a respectable result, especially for first campaign and sort of first warband and getting the hang of the court, now their playstyle. I'm not really sure it's for me, maybe not the sin of pride. I found that it was very blood intensive, so that usually means that you've got a lot of models which are dedicated to producing blood, like a blood battery, and they don't really have any other purpose except for your economy minigame. So whereas in other factions, their chaff are going up on objectives and like Azebs and like heretic troopers and all that sort of stuff, like they can shoot, combat, get into objectives and stuff like that. Whereas the Wretched in the Blood Bank, you don't really want to move them too much because that's your economy. It does kind of feel bad just to have these pieces in a list which aren't really doing much, and it ends up being like only 5 of your units are actually able to do something like good, like your Predator, Sorcerer, Hunter, and all of that. If I were to play them again, which I'm sure I will, I've got some ideas for a Path of the Beast sort of warband, which I've literally just thought of today because I was looking at some miniatures and I was like, damn, this would be really cool. So I might cook up something for that. But yeah, I wouldn't play Pride again just because I've already played it and I would just like to see what else the court has to offer. Now, let's talk about the elites. I like the Sorcerer. The Sorcerer is a really great utility piece and your main sort of shooting, and I really like him. The Praetor, on the other hand, I'm not sure if I like the Praetor. I think he's very expensive, which is fine. He's supposed to be your big threat, but I find that he feels really squishy, especially if you're running him Serpent Assault Cannon and 2 melee weapons, which was what people usually do, just so you maximize his insane characteristics. But but he comes to about like 250 ducats usually. And because he's so expensive, he feels very brittle when it comes to campaign, because as I found out in my first game where I actually lost my Praetor, you just automatically have to do a reinforcement step. So just to buy another one, because it's such a blow when you lose them. So I kind of got into the habit of not getting him into combat, even though he's supposed to be like a combat specialist, and just instead sitting back with him to use his Serpent Assault gun, which is fine. And it did do some work, but it would just be nice for him not to feel as fragile. But again, that's just my takeaway. Other experiences might differ from my experience, but that's just how I felt when playing him. Now, the Hunter of the Left-Hand Path, phenomenal. Probably one of the best units the court has. I loved it. I wish I started the campaign with one, because waiting for one, because I decided to wait for one, which is completely fine and valid, but I really enjoyed his playstyle. Very, very blood intensive, especially in Pride. Yeah, I've enjoyed my court experience. I would definitely play them again, but in another sort of flavor. It's been a fun campaign. I've really enjoyed it, and it's just been so nice to meet all of these local Trench Crusade players and everybody coming together to play the game and enjoy the game, and to make a community which is just really cool, and everyone in it is super lovely. And yeah, it's just been a really nice experience, because I haven't had this wargaming experience in an awfully long time. So it's nice that it's been such a positive experience. So I mentioned a tournament earlier. The group down here have decided that we're going to be running a 706 Glory tournament next month, which is going to be interesting. And I'm really looking forward to it, because I've never played in a tournament before, and it's going to be fun to experience it with Trench Crusade. So I've been thinking of a couple of lists I'm going to potentially play. First being Defenders of the Iron Wall, but minus the Bull. I've decided to spend the ducats on Azebs and another Janissary, and a Sapper with the Sultanate Grand Cannon. Now, I prefer this because it's more activations, it's more shooting, and you still have that threat of the Grand Cannon, which you can just leave at the back. The engineer doesn't have to man it, so you can have your Sniper Alchemist manning it. So if it's got a shot with the cannon, it can use the cannon, or if it needs to move, it can move the sniper and go back to the cannon. So that's the sort of thinking behind it. I think it's got merit to it. It might not be as maneuverable, and also if it gets into combat, well, then it's a little bit, the Siladar is going to have to do a lot of the legwork, but the idea is not to get into combat, which again is not the most sensible thing to be relying on. So just going to get some decay deposits on the armor. The other list I'm thinking is running Great Hunger. Because we have these 6 Glory available to us, I'm thinking Matagog Hag, Guguri Gula with Vomitus, a Plague Hound, and then 10 Ravenous. So it comes to 13 activations at 700 ducats. The speed they have, they should be able to cap objectives like without any problem whatsoever. So that's my thinking with that, just to be able to speed up the board, have the Guguri Gula be an annoying presence, and to just cause mayhem and mischief. So that's my thinking for that one. Third list, maybe Heretic Naval Raiding Party. Again, these are all lists which I might do for the campaign, but Heretic Naval Raiding Party, I don't know how I'd do it, but I would just submachine guns. I'll probably use the glory for anti-material rifle on one of the anointed, and the rest of it for a blasphemous staff for the heretic priest, just so that the puppet master has that +1 chance of going off, which would be really good. And also he would get +1 dice to any of him sort of interacting with an objective, which would be really useful, especially in a sort of tournament environment where you have objectives which you need to interact with, crates you need to pick up or destroy. So yeah, a lot of thinking needs to be done, and I'll probably do some playtesting beforehand, but I'm really excited for that opportunity to just experience a tournament for the first time with a game which I absolutely love. So it will be interesting, and I'll obviously be reporting back on my findings. A lot of progress has been made on the Brazen Bull, as you can see. We managed to do all of the armor and the weapons as well, and I'm really happy with how he's turning out. He just needs some fur where his hoofs are. I need to do his hooves, and I need to do his horns, and I need to do the base, and that's basically it, and probably where I'm going to end the video today. So if you've enjoyed yourself, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as I really do appreciate it. And let me know what you would run at 700 ducats and 6 glory if you were to go to a tournament. And yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. And until next time, I've been painting from the loam. Goodbye.